Hi everyone, welcome to another TFT Masterclass by Fit Gamer Training Grounds. I'm Upsetmax, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 best comps to climb with during the early ranked season of Set 11 TFT. We are working with a new slide deck, so if you like the colors, it's more of a dark mode setting. Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So today's table of contents, we have 5 different comps we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about Janna Reroll and Bard Reroll. Then we're going to move on to some standard comps. So this is when you're level 8, rolling down on either 4-2 or 4-5 to stabilize around a 4-cost carry. This will be 7 Mythic Lillia or Inkshadow Kai'sa. And then last but not least, we'll be talking about level 9 boards, some legendary high cap boards. These are the boards that will contest first place and win lobbies. At the very end, we'll do a summary / recap, and then we can enter the Q&A. So for those in the VC, you can then ask any questions that you'd like. So today's class should help you have a better understanding of what comps to play, and this should help you in your ranked climb. Today will be the best comps to climb with, and hopefully you can learn something. Before we even get into it, I want to talk about the bag sizes and unit odd changes to set 11. So bag size changes stays the same. The main things to look out for is for 3 costs. 2 players both cannot hit 3-star units unless you have Nico or a champion duplicator, because there are 17 copies, and for 2 3-star 3 costs to be happening, you require 18 copies. So only 1 player can hit. 4 costs, either you're going for a 3-star 4 cost, or just a lot of players are playing 4 cost units of the same copy. Just remember there's 10 copies in total, and then for 5 costs there's 9 copies in total as well. For unit odds, the main thing that has been changed is the level 6 to level 7. Previously in set 10, the odds for 2 cost units from level 6 to level 7 went from 40 to 35. However, now it's 40 to 30. So this means for 2 cost units reroll, you want to be staying level 6 to have the highest % chance of seeing a 2 cost before pumping levels. The other part that was changed is level 8 4 costs. So this is because Chosen is gone, and now we need to actually find 3 copies of a 4 cost unit to get the 2-star. So the odds of seeing a 4 cost on level 8 were increased as well. Alright, let's get straight into the compositions. The first one is Dragonlords Janna Reroll. Janna is both a Dragonlord and an Invoker. So Dragonlord, after 8 seconds of combat, the enemies will take true damage, and also all of your allies will gain attack speed for the rest of combat. So not only is this a combat trait, this is also a combat supportive trait for your entire team. And then Invoker, every 3 seconds your units will gain mana, with Invokers earning more at the 4 and 6 breakpoints. Janna's actual ability, well, first she has 75 mana, so this means that Shojin is very good on her. Intervals of 15 is always good for Shojin users. She will give a shield to the 2 lowest health allies for 4 seconds, and this shield scales with ability power, and then she will deal damage to the 2 nearest enemies, also scaling with ability power. Since Janna is a 2-cost unit, as I mentioned on the previous slide, we are going to be rerolling on level 6, and this is a magic damage comp with stall and sustain. So we are going to be needing some sort of shred, and the reason why this comp is good is it stabilizes super hard once you hit your level 6 board and can cap super high. So best of both worlds, comp is super good right now, and let's get straight into it. Okay, so this is what the level 6 board is going to look like. This first board is going to be the board that you will most likely be playing around because you don't hit Galio. But if you do have a Galio, then this is the ideal board that you want to be playing around. So the ideal board that you'll playing around is going to be your 3-story Weaver, Altruist, Bruiser, Dragonlord, Sage, with your items either on the Diana or the Galio, depending on what you hit first. And then your backline, you're going to have your Janna, Zyra, Soraka, with Kale having the ability power support option. However, you don't always hit the Galio, so you're just going to want to play your strongest board. This can mean the Garen, Riven, Aatrox, Alawi combo, and this is perfectly fine as well. Since Janna is a 2-cost, remember we're going to be rerolling on level 6, and her best in slot is going to be Archangels +2. And you have a couple different options. You could either do Rageblade plus Shojin, you could do Nashus plus Shojin, or you could do 2 Rageblades. All these are fine. I think Rageblade plus Shojin is the best. However, depending on your item economy, you may not always have that. As I mentioned, just play your strongest frontline until you hit Galio. And then if you have the items for Zyra and Riven, or at least the economy, you can also go for those 3-starred. However, if you're just able to 3-star your Janna, that's perfectly fine. You can start pushing levels from there. Once you have hit your 3-star Janna, push levels, and then the units you want to be adding are Wukong, Rakong, and then Azir. So these work out super well. Heavenly, Sage, you'll get Ultras and Dragonlord, and then Azir, just very good unit. Pumps out a lot of single target damage, gives you more frontline, and also pairs Invoker with Janna as well. Before you hit level 9, good filler units to play are like Annie, Invoker, frontline, stun, burn and wound, super good. Morgana for some chills and some more Sage, and then Lee Sin for another Dragonlord. So very good comp. This caps out super high, and then after you 2-star all your units on this, you can go level 10 and play another 2-star legendary, either like an Udyr, Sets, or even like a Hui. Okay, so that is the Janna board. We're going to move on to the augments. So the best two augments I would say are 2 healthy, Magic Wand, also 2 for 1. All these augments are super good. The reason why Magic Wand is so good is because Janna's traits, Dragonlord and Invoker, neither directly give her ability power. And yes, we will be getting 20 AP from Kayle and some AP from Sage as well. But Magic Wand will really benefit us, giving AP to the entire board. Also, we need at least 2 rods, so this will at least give us one of the rods we need. 2 healthy is super good. We're playing a lot of 2 costs in the late game. Also, we might even be playing even more 2 costs in the early game, early to mid. So 2 healthy value is very good. 2 for 1, very good for rerolling. Caretakers, if this is Janna, your 2-cost Janna, then Caretakers is going to really help you. Of course, you'll find this after you take out Caretakers, so it'd be take Caretakers, and then you find out as Janna, and then Janna reroll becomes a possibility. Ascension, Final Ascension, very good because this is a stall comp. Lotus for more damage, Learning Dispel, same reasoning behind the AP from Magic Wand. And then last but not least, Into the Dragon is the Dragonlords trait-specific augment. So this is Dragonlords Janna reroll, extremely good comp right now, and highly recommend it if you have a good spot for it. We're going to move on to our other reroll composition. So this is going to be Mythic Bard. Now Bard is both a Mythic and a Trick Shot. So Mythic, it grants HP, AP, and AD to Mythic units. And then after they've been fielded for 4-player combats, they become Epic, increasing this bonus by 50%. So pretty good combat trait. And then Trick Shot is when Trick Shot units use their ability, the ability will ricochet, and then each ricochet will deal a percentage of the previous bounce's damage. So very good traits. This means that Bard is going to be our backline carry with a mana pool of 50. Once they have reached 50, they will become mana locked, and for the next 6 seconds, their attacks will deal one extra attack will deal physical damage, and 1 will deal magic damage. So this is a hybrid damage stall AoE comp. And since Bard is a 3-cost, we will be re-rolling on level 7 for the highest odds of seeing a 3-cost unit. This is best with a Mythic +1, which you will see why on the next slide here. So this is what your level 7 board is going to look like with a Mythic emblem. We are able to fit in 5 Mythic and play around Storyweaver with the Talisman of Aid from Kayle, and we also have Trickshot in, Bruiser in, and Arcanist in. I mentioned earlier that we are going to be re-rolling on level 7, and then Bard Biss is a Gunblade, and then your other options are going to be either 2 Rage Blades, which is his Biss, or a Rage Blade plus a red buff. So you're definitely going to need a lot of rods and a lot of bows to be playing Bard. You want to make sure you field Bard and TK ASAP, so then you can start working towards their epic. And since this is a stall comp, make sure you're out of harm's way and positioning opposite side of the enemy main carry and away from CC. So this is what the level 7 board looks like. Remember, you're also re-rolling Tahm Kench as well at the same time as Bard. So make sure you itemize your Tahm Kench, put any mana items on Nautilus, and then Stone Plates are very good on Galio because of his taunt effect. Once you have 3-starred both your Bard and your Tahm Kench, you can start pushing levels and add 2 more Mythics to hit 7 Mythic. And although this package is very strong of the Kayle shredding and sundering the same side as the Bard and Sivir giving attack speed to both, we are clumping, and late game we are very susceptible to enemy AoE such as Morgana, even Lilias and Hui's. So if the enemies are playing these types of units, we are unfortunately going to have to lose this stacked value and declump, so then we do not get hit with Morgana or Hui abilities. Hui also becomes eventually when we play our own Hui, they will become another carry of ours. So make sure you give Hui some sort of mana gen item. They are a very good holder of Morello if we do not have a red buff on our bard. And then any generic AP item like an Archangel, Rabadon, Jewel Gauntlet, these are all fine. Okay, best install augments to play with Mythic Bard. So this comp is all about attack speed, at least for Bard. So pumping up 1, 2, or 3 are very good. Mythic Emblem or Crest allows us to fit in 5 Mythic on level 7. And then we start getting into Lucky Ricochet, which is very good for trick shots, Shopping Spree for reroll, Magic Wand to give us one of the 3 rods that we need. Through the crowd, we have many 3 costs here, 2 for 1 always good for rerolling, Ascension for stall comps, Jewel Lotus, and Unified Resistance for combat. And Unified is very good because remember, Mythic gives us a lot of HP. However, we have no resistances, so being able to pair that HP with resistance really increases the effective tankiness of our Mythic units. So that is the Mythic Bard reroll comp. Super good right now, very stable, and you can cap very high as well. We're going to take a step away from reroll and move more into our standard comps. So standard, this is going to be our level 8 roll downs and stabilizing around 4 cost carries instead of any reroll. And the first one is going to be 7 Mythic Lillia. So Lillia, we already went over both Mythic and Invoker. We're going to talk about Lillia herself. So she has a mana pool of 50, and the way she works is her first 2 casts, she's going to throw an orb at her current target and hit the enemy and adjacent enemies. Then this orb will keep rolling to hit any enemies it continues to hit. Now, on the third cast, every third cast, she's going to launch a super orb at her target, and then this will split into 3 different small orbs to hit additional enemies as well. So you really want to be having Lillia cast ASAP because her third cast is going to be the super cast. This is all magic damage, so make sure you have some sort of shred, and this is a lot of AoE. This is best with a Mythic / Invoker +1, so then you can fit everything on the level 8 board. And this is what the level 8 board looks like. So Annie is going to be holding our Mythic Emblem, and if we do not have a Mythic Emblem but we have an Invoker Emblem, then the 3 Invokers that we only have to play are Annie, Lillia, and Kog'Maw. We could drop the 4th Invoker and then play a Cho'Gath for 7 Mythic, or even a Bard in the backline. So we're going to be level 8 and rolling down on either 4-2 or 4-5 depending on how rich we are and stabilizing. Lily Abyss is going to be blue buff, Gunblade +1, and the +1 ideally is Rabadon's, but Archangel is also good, and Jewel Gauntlet is good as well. Remember to field your Mythic units ASAP so they can start working towards Epic. And if you are going with the generic Mythic Emblem and you have to play a 4th Invoker, before you hit the Azir, it is perfectly okay to play a Loon for the magic resist shred and the attack speed to the entire backline. Remember, this is your level 8 board, so once you go level 9, just play any 2-star legendary that you have items for and fits your board. But this comp is really good. A lot of combat stats, and Hui is going to be your other carry as well, so make sure you have some items on Hui and you have some sort of healing reduction and shred just throughout the board. Now that we know what the board looks like, we'll go into what augments will help us play this board even better. So Mythic Crest or Crown and Invoker Crest / Crown is going to be 2 of the best augments to play with, so we can fit everything on level 8. It's going to be epic. We are going to receive so much HP and health from epicking 7 Mythic units. Little buddies, we have a lot of little buddies for our big buddies. And we actually have a lot of big buddies. So little buddies is very good. Unified Resistance, same reasoning behind the Bard comp, and Mythic Y Resistance is good with so much HP. Unleash Arcana, Jewel Lotus 3, Combat Caster because Lillia is casting so much. Martyr and Magic Wand are very good options as well. So that was the first standard comp that we talked about. The next one is going to be an attack damage comp, and this is going to be Inkshadow Kai'Sa. So Kai'Sa is an Inkshadow and Trick Shot. We haven't talked about Inkshadow yet. So what Inkshadow is, there are 6 Inkshadow items with 3 being offensive in the back line and 3 being defensive in the front line. With 3 Inkshadow, which is going to be the most Inkshadows we'll play, we are going to be receiving 1 of these Inkshadow items. The actual ability of Kai'Sa with a mana pool of 75, she will attack the current target by firing 20 waves at them, and then if the enemy is hit by at least 10 waves, they'll start taking more damage per wave. So very good, a lot of single target from Kai'Sa, and also does some AoE because of Trick Shot as well. This is a physical damage comp, so we need to make sure we have either Last Whisper on the Kai'Sa or we have some sort of Sunder throughout our board. We want to be checking the tattoo ASAP, so then we know whether or not to build -1 tank items in the front line, or we need to save 1 open slot on Kai'Sa for the tattoo. And the reason why this comp is good, it doesn't require any +1s, so theoretically we are able to play this comp every game if we have the items for it. So this is what the board will look like, our level 8 board. We'll be playing around the 4 Bruiser, 3 Inkshadow, 3 Story Weaver, 2 Trick Shot combo, where we have Sivir and Kale buffing up our Kai'Sa, and then we have our Bruisers doing our frontline tanking. You're going to be going level 8 on either 4-2 or 4-5 as usual to stabilize, and Kai'Sa's Biss is going to be a tattoo, so an offensive tattoo, +2, so either Last Whisper and IE, Guardbreaker IE plus GS. The majority of Kai'Sa's damage comes from her ability cast, which is why Infinity Edge is great on her. Same thing as the Bard concept, we want to clump against single target, so then we really get the maximum effects from our support units. However, we have to declump against enemy AoE such as Morgana or Hui. This is our level 8 board, so on level 9 we can add either our own Hui or an Azir, and before we hit our Rakan or Udyr, we can just play either a Senna or Volibear instead of Udyr, anything over Rakan, and have Sylas as our dual carry with like BT, Titans, Crown Guard, which we can eventually transfer over to an Udyr too. So super good comp. We'll check out what augments will help us play this comp even better. So little buddies is very good. We have plenty of little buddies, 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big buddies. So we have perfect little buddies and big buddy. Unified resistance is very good. Same thing. We have so much HP from our bruisers that resistance increases in value. Jewel Lotus is always very good in almost every comp. Combat Caster, just to keep our units alive. Martyr, same thing. Harmesis, same thing. And Inspire Epitaph is very good in this comp. And then last but not least, we have our level 9 legendary board. So there are many ways you can approach this, but here are the 2 most common ones, at least that I found. So the first one, it really depends whether or not you're playing around the Galio mid game or the Ornn mid game as your main tank. If you're going more of the Behemoth route with Ornn, and you have items for Udyr, then perhaps this top board is what you'll be looking to play with your Ornn and Udyr sharing Behemoth. You'll be putting some AP melee bruiser items on Udyr, such as BT or Crown Guard, and then your backline will consist of like Azir, Hui, Janna, Soraka. These traits work extremely well together since we're playing around the Altruist Dragonlords Sage package. You'll be playing your legendary level 9 board either from a very good start, so either a tempo start, or you have some sort of econ augment / region that will help you reach level 9 comfortably with enough HP and enough gold to roll. You want to get Hui on your board ASAP to start the artist trait. That way you are able to start printing out your legendary units and trying to 2-star everything. And then remember, on your initial transition, just play your strongest board depending on what you hit, and then put your items on throughout the round at the very start of the round, but make sure that you keep rolling and you fix up your positioning, and then you put in your items last. If you are playing around Galio instead of Ornn, then you'll be playing more of this bottom board where you can fit in Story Weaver. And then Story Weaver, the AP version on Azir and Hui are very good, and then your melee items will go on Wukong on both of these occasions. Rakan is a very good spark holder, and you could put other items on him as well, such as like Crown Guard, BT. These are very fine as well. And then Gargoyle Stoneplay on Galio once again because of his taunt function. So yeah, these are the level 9 boards that are very strong. And then once you are able to 2-star your main carries, you can even look to go a level 10 as well to add another 2-star legendary unit. All right, and that has been the entire lesson. So we're going to do a quick recap of what we talked about today. So I'll go back to the table of contents. So today we talked about 5 comps. We talked about 2 reroll comps, Janna reroll and Bard reroll. Then we moved on to some standard level 8 comps, 7 Mythic Lillia and Inkshadow Kai'Sa, and then we talked about how to fully cap your board on level 9. So this is what the final Janna Dragonlords board looks like. Remember, we are rerolling our Janna and our Diana. items on Janna, we have 2 mana gen, and then we have Archangels. This is a stall comp, position opposite away from enemies harm, and you will eventually have insane amount of shields and insane amount of damage outputting from your Janna. Bard, same thing, you are positioning away from the enemy. This is another stall comp where we're stacking up with Rageblade and Gunblade, and we are tanking with our Tomkinch and Galio. Capsule very high as well with our Mythic +1, and we're able to fit in 2 more Mythics after our level 7 to reach 7 Mythic. Our Lillia board, super strong as well. 7 Mythic with our Mythic +1. So Mythic +1 allows us to have 2 different boards depending on our items. So if it's more like AP caster items, then we can play 7 Mythic Lillia, and that's not a reroll. However, if we have a lot of bows and rods, then we can look to play Bard as well. So the Mythic line is super strong. The Kai'Sa line also very strong. Make sure you check out the tattoo early so then you know whether or not you have to build 3 Kai'Sa items or only 2. And then look out for augments such as little buddies to really help you determine whether or not this would be a comp for you to play. And then last but not least, our fast 9 comp. This comes a lot from a tempo start. So if you just have a really hard win streak start, this will probably be high roll unless you're just very good at your stage 2, then this can be a board that you can transition into on stage 5. You might start losing out in stage 4 if you're not rolling, but if you have the HP from early game, then it's okay to trade resource of HP for resource of gold, and then once you hit this board, you can start winning out from there. So that has been everything for today. Let me know in the comments if you like the new format and if the colors are easier on your eyes. Hopefully this doesn't flashbang anybody at nighttime if you open this up and is just more comfortable. So that's been all. I'm Upsetmax. Thanks for coming out today and best of luck in your ranked climb. The next video will be out next Monday. Take care.